Hey, malo lele, folks. Welcome to Ho'oikaika. This is cool because this is actually the first Tongan representative that we have here in Ho'oikaika after Team represent, baby.
Yes, sir.
And it's funny too because I have a lot of Tongan friends, and a few of them that actually are in the tech field too. But a lot of them are like, "Nah, man, I don't know how to do it." And so I was like, "Oh, come on! Since when you've been shy?" But this gentleman was willing to do it. And what makes it even cooler is that I've never met Dean before, like face to face. We kind of messaged back and forth online via LinkedIn, and the guy is very talented, man. Looking at his resume, he graduated with a bachelor's in computer science. He does programming, he does Python, which is pretty cool, man. I'm getting involved in Python myself, and now he's going towards like the business side, taking more of an entrepreneurial role, which is good to have representation of that too. So I'm going to have Brother Dean go ahead and introduce himself. Brother Dean Uata, please go
Yeah,
ahead and
man.
introduce yourself to the crew.
Yeah, thank you for having me. I'm Dean Uata. Like he was mentioning, I did have a background in CS, but the thing is that I'm a freshman right now in college. So I was studying CS and then I switched over to econ, try to take more of a entrepreneur route, I'm thinking, but really just explore and learn as much as I can.
Yeah, so you just graduated from high school then.
Yeah, yeah.
That's awesome, bro. I think you're like the second youngest. No, you might actually be the youngest one that has been on the show so far because we got a few other guys that have been in college for a little bit, but that's great, man. What made you want to get involved in technology?
Hmm. So the funny story about tech, when I was super young, there was like this after school program that I was super obsessed with. And it really just introduced me to the world of coding. But at the time I didn't think coding was for me, I didn't really think that was something that I'd be interested in. So we would go after school every day, we'd do some coding, and then fast forward, it's about junior year of high school. I walk in the classroom to my first CS class ever. And we sit down at our computer, we type in our little code, and then we make a website like that same day. And I was mind blown. I was like, what is going on? And my mind was blown that I could make this thing on the computer with just some code that I made. And that was really the moment that opened my eyes up to like, this is cool. This is something that I really enjoy. And he was actually my favorite high school teacher, Mr. Diaz. Shout out to that dude. But he really inspired the CS side of me and why I wanted to pursue programming. So from that point, um, just applying to colleges, and then I decided to go into CS, and then I got into Northwestern. So I came here as a CS major.
Yeah, if you were to talk about maybe the languages, what are the different types of programming coding languages that you know so far?
Yeah. So when I first started off, it was the basics of creating a website. So it was HTML, CSS, and then JavaScript, I believe. And then from there, we also went into a little bit of Python. And then the next year, we went to app development. So I got really big into Swift, which is what you use to make Apple programs or Apple apps. And then after that, um, I also did Java at the time. And then I just really went into Swift and just learned as much as possible there. And then I shifted to Python. I was really all over the place in my journey. And then I shifted to Python, and then now I think I'm gonna keep exploring Python and R for data science. That's really what I'm thinking. But I'll just see where the wind takes me. Yeah.
Yeah, that's cool, man. It's good to talk shop with you. So because I'm a lot older than you,
Hmm.
I didn't get introduced to web development or websites until, or the idea of designing websites until my senior year in college, and it was a CS class that I took.
Hmm.
We learned Photoshop, Dreamweaver, HTML, and JavaScript, and
Hmm.
I got hooked, bro. As soon as I took those classes,
Yes.
like you, but I was already graduating already, so I ended up having to go to. I went to UVSC. Oh, but
Hmm.
before it was Utah Valley University. It was Utah Valley State College before, and I was going there, just kind of auditing and taking some classes. And Bro, it blew my mind, man. And so I got huge into Flash and action script back in the day when it was like
Mm,
relevant. So I made all of these cool action games, and now it's Flash is obsolete now. So now I
yeah.
got another program that I use called Storyline, and it
Mhm.
utilizes HTML5. So now I'm using HTML5 to do like these interactive games, these e-learning
That's sick.
development type stuff. Bro, Python, I'm telling you, bro, Python is definitely the future because I'm learning it myself too now, and it's so versatile. Like not only can you do websites,
Yeah.
games, you can do data analytics. Right now, for my job, there's a lot of data analytics involved, and so I'm trying to pick up Python and that. And I'm looking at job openings too. They're looking for Python application engineers like all over the place.
Hmm.
So
Yeah.
you're definitely in the right spot, man, doing what you're doing, man.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
Yo, well, where do you see yourself like maybe 5-10 years from now? Like what's your goals for
Mm.
your career and everything you want to do?
Yeah. Great question. I think where should I start? Um, so when I was first coming to college, really the only goal was to graduate, get straight A's, come out, and then go into like software engineering, any type of those developer roles. And that was really where I saw myself when I first came into college. But now that I was being here, there was one day where we were studying for a test. It was like 12 in the morning, and then we were with a whole bunch of friends quizzing each other for the exam that was coming the next day. And then we were working, and out of nowhere, one of the dudes he was like, "So is this what we're doing for the next 4 years?" And I was like, and at first I was like, laughed it off. We all laughed it off, but I was like, "Dang, that's true." Like, I don't see myself out here studying day and night to ace the exam the next day. So that was really the moment where I I really got heavy into entrepreneurship and learning more in that realm. And with that, I was exploring all the gurus on YouTube and everything. So I dove into Alex Hormozy, Russell Brunson, all these entrepreneurs who have made it, and then I've just been studying everything that they have put out for free, and really just taking in their content and trying to apply it. So 5, 10 years from now, I have no idea. I think where I want to be then is running a business, hopefully, but now is really just trying to find work, working under someone, and learning as much as I possibly can from them. So that's where I'm at right now.
Brother, so there's I don't know if you've seen the earlier episodes. So Sam Moana, he's
Yeah, yeah.
CEO
I
of
connected with him. Yeah,
Oh, you did? Okay, cool.
yeah.
And then
Cool guy, cool guy.
Teofile Purcell is another one too that was on the show.
Yeah, yeah.
Sam Keller, you know Sam Keller? You know
I
Sam
don't know
Keller?
Sam Keller. No.
Okay, so he's an application developer too. He knows from what I understand, he knows beyond Python. There's a lot of stuff that he does. That's
Mhm.
another guy you should hook up with. He's half Tongan,
Oh,
Afkasi.
okay.
But yeah, if I can connect you with him, that'll be cool too.
Yeah, that would be sick.
Yeah, I was kind of curious, being Tongan, how would you
Hmm.
say your culture has affected your your life and your trajectory now? Like how you found this passion of yours and how you're pursuing it. How has your Tongan culture
Yeah,
influenced you in
yeah.
your
That's a great
career?
question. I think for me, there's always the saying "mate matonga," right? Always you. I remember we were
Well, what does that mean?
when
What does
when
that
Tonga
mean?
was
What does that
die for
mean?
Tonga,
Oh,
die
die
for
for
Tonga.
tongue. Okay, got you.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. So when they were first getting big, when they were first in the World Cup, do you remember this back in like 2018? This is when I was in like middle school, but I remember when they made it to the semifinals, I think,
For rugby,
and
you talking
then
about?
yeah, yeah, for
Yeah, yeah,
rugby,
yeah,
for
yeah.
rugby, yeah, they made it to the semifinals. I think it was semifinals, but they made it super far. And then there was one day we were watching the game, and everyone was all red. All the stands was all red. It was all mate matonga. So that was really the point that like, man, I'm proud to be Tongan. And so I went on from there. And something that my dad really talks big about is this idea of mate matonga. Like when I first heard it, I was like, whoa, whoa, wait a minute. Like that's kind of weird. Well, I don't know why you guys are all saying mate matonga. But the thing that he said to me which has really stuck with me for a long time, is die for Tonga really means to find that person who you're willing to die for, right? You know those people in your life who you're willing to lay down your life to protect them. And so the person who that is for me is my mom, my sister, my aunties, the people in my life who I'd be willing to lay my down life for my mom. And for that reason, it's really been a huge motivator to really make her proud of the things that I'm doing, right? So that's the reason I was super motivated to do good in school, do good in sports, get into college, really pursue the things that I'm doing right now, and that's really been motivating me for to be successful. Because eventually, that's my dream to give back to my mom, my parents for everything that they've done for me.
Yeah, dude. I'm a big proponent of people, especially of indigenous cultures, like going out, learning their craft, whatever it is that they want to do, business, computer science, and then take those skills back with them, help develop the culture. How do you
Yeah.
see yourself as a applications developer or computer software engineer? How do you see yourself pushing the culture forward, pushing the
Mm.
Tongan culture forward, doing what you do for your career? How do you see that happen?
Yeah, this is another good question. It's actually one of my life goals. I think I wrote this down in one of my college applications. Like one of the things I really want to do when I grow up is create some type of nonprofit scholarship way to teach kids back in Tonga or teach kids who are in Salt Lake, so many of them are in Hawaii, who are Polynesian, and really get them into a good college, get them into good jobs. And I think that's really just one of the big things I want to do because that's the reason I'm in school over here at Northwestern is because I was able to start a summer program when I was in high school, and then it was like a feeder up into like this super good school. So that's really what I want to do for other people down the road.
That's awesome, bro. It's like a philanthropist. I don't know if you've heard of the artist known as Prince, right? The musician.
Yeah, 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 yeah.
Okay, so I don't know if you know this. So, several years ago, I found out that he funded this program in Oakland, California,
Hmm.
for the underprivileged kids. I mean, a lot of the urban kids, mostly like Black Latino kids living out in Northern Cal. And he had this program called Weekend Code, and basically it was teaching
Oh,
all those underprivileged kids that couldn't afford
yeah.
the schooling, this program where they can just go and learn how to code, man. And he started that, just with his own money and stuff. I can totally envision you doing something like that for like the Tongan
Man, I
community, just
appreciate that.
Polynesians in general.
Yeah.
Yeah, bro. Like I say just go for it. There's some projects that I'm kind of working on too myself, involving like application gaming and stuff like that too. But we ain't gonna talk about me. We're gonna talk about you. the if you if you were to talk about the, let's say, maybe like the challenges and your successes that you've had in life
Mm.
in your how old are you now, 17, 18?
18, 18, yeah.
Yeah, bro, still young, man. 18 years old. In the 18 years of life that you've had, what have been like your biggest challenges that you've overcome, and what's been like some of your successes that you want to share?
Man, I love this question. Thank you so much. This is a really good interview. Really good podcast talking to you. Uh, so one of the biggest challenges I think for me, especially recently for sure, is we don't talk about mental health a lot. Like in our community, yes. And that's something that was really it really like hit me out of nowhere. I got blindsided by it coming out here to Northwestern. Cause man, I came out here for school and this is in Chicago. I'm from West Coast. That's where I live over there. And I'm not used to the weather. I'm not used to the people. No Polynesians out here at all. That was one of the hardest things for me is not having some of my people out here. And I was searching, man. Like I think firstly I was searching for any type of clubs, any type of community out here. And but there was nothing. And luckily I was able to find a Hawaiian family that really took me in. They're super awesome, and they welcome me in like like family, and I really appreciate them for that. But then the thing is, there is that I really had to learn to balance my mental health, right? Because I was always focused on the physical side, getting things done in school, trying to learn everything I can in terms of business and coding and everything there. But what I really didn't understand was focusing on my mind and really having time set aside for me to focus on me. So that's what I've really learned. That was one of the biggest lessons I learned is that I can't ignore my mental health and where I am in life. So yeah,
Yeah, that's huge, bro. that
yeah,
that
seriously.
that whole topic that you just said, I mean, it was a big reason why I even started the podcast too. Just seeing all the issues that our people are going through, especially island folks, and
Hmm.
the I mentioned this before when I was kind of having my own issues too a couple years ago. I went and saw a therapist, and one of the
Yeah.
things they mentioned was Hawaii in particular has the highest rate in the nation of like mental illness. And they said part of the reason why is because in Polynesian culture, the men especially have this attitude of, you gotta be man, you
Yes.
gotta be tough, right? You're not supposed to have mental issues. Nah, no such thing. I got this, no
Yeah.
problem.
Yeah.
And then and when Asian culture too, Asian culture it tends to be like a taboo. Like you're not supposed to talk about
Yeah.
that kind of stuff. So you just sweep it under the rug. And so in Hawaii, that Asian and Polynesian culture, that influence is so huge. So mental health is so bad. And it's good that now we have us guys talking about
Hmm.
this stuff up front because man, if we don't have that outlet, tell you about it, it's gonna drive us crazy, man.
Yeah.
And I'm with you, but I get it. The whole culture shock. Because when I was born and raised in Hawaii, I went to Utah and
Hmm.
I mean, luckily there's a lot of Polynesians out there, but at first I was
Yeah.
like, oh man, I didn't know where to find them.
Yeah.
I didn't know where to find them. And then finally they started coming out of the woodwork. I was like, hey, we're going to do this, do that, and everything. And it was cool. Then I started to just start learning from all the different cultures after that, after I started getting
Yeah.
comfortable. And
That's
then,
awesome.
oh yeah. And then that's actually when I started getting involved with like Polynesian, like dancing too, just learning about
Mm.
Samoan culture, Tongan culture, all these different things. I can't even think. Oh, dude, what's that watermelon drink that they have in Tonga? Shoot,
Oh, die.
Otai. See, I can't even
Yeah.
over. We
Yeah.
eat
No
Otai
worries.
all the time, man. And I used to eat lupulu all the time with my friends too. I love lupulu.
Yeah.
But I thought that was a cool thing, just being able to open up my mind and just learn from
Yeah.
all the different cultures and stuff. It was good for me. Do you see do you see yourself graduating kind of early?
I was thinking about that.
Yeah.
I don't think so. I think if anything, I was thinking about taking a gap year, but we'll see. We'll see how things turn out.
Well, could you talk about some of the businesses that you have now? Because I think I saw on your LinkedIn profile you had some businesses that you founded already or started. Could you
Mhm.
talk a little bit about that? Is that okay?
Yeah, this is a really funny story. Um, so let's see. So summer coming into here. So right before I came, I graduated high school. I went to my uncle. I was working with my uncle. He's a concrete contractor. So I was working with him, and I was really just seeing the way he was doing business. And the biggest thing for me when I was working with him is he broke a lot of my beliefs about a lot of my false beliefs about money. Because when I was working with him, he was throwing around like $100 bills like it was nothing, and I was like, "Whoa!" I was like, "What? How does this guy goes yate right? How does this yate guy make all this cash?" I was like, so working with him, I just learned a lot more about what he was doing, and then as I was learning that, I was seeing how I could potentially help him because at the time I learned how to make websites. That was the thing. That was my thing. So I made WordPress websites. It's one of the softwares I use. So I was making WordPress websites, and then I really wanted to make him a website. So I did that, and then started generating leads for him. So I was generating customers, and then that really sparked my mind on this idea of I can start a digital marketing agency, is what it's called, and it's really just generating leads for contractors. But I started that while I was out here at Northwestern. And then the thing is, when I was trying to balance that with having a social life, with focusing on my health, with school, with all the things I was going wrong, that was going on in my life, it was hard to balance all of that. So really, the thing that I've shifted to now is putting that on the back burner because I've learned that now is a time for learning instead of earning. Like I'm in a season of trying to work for other people, learn what they have, the skills that I can acquire with working with them, and then I could go off. As you said, 5, 10 years from now, maybe start my own business. So right now, I'm involved with a personal development coach, really doing the marketing side for him, and then it's an e-commerce automation platform. So I'm working with them as well.
Yeah, you are way ahead of the game, bro. Seriously. Like when I was in high school, um, coding wasn't even a thing, man. Like because I do HTML, HTML5, JavaScript, and now and I was telling you now I'm getting into Python, CSS, of
Hmm.
course. But dude, like I wish I had resources to learn all that stuff back when I was your age, man. I was just like, oh, dude, And now folks like you, even my kids now, like I'm because of the what I do for work. I'm exposing my kids to a lot of that stuff that you do now, a lot of the computer science
Yeah,
stuff.
yeah, awesome.
They're
That's
doing a
cool.
lot of the Adobe multimedia stuff too, like some 3D printing and everything. Um, and I was like, oh man, it's so good. Like sometimes I wish I was born later in this.
Yeah, yeah.
I was like, oh man, because technically I'm a Gen X, and sometimes I don't feel like a Gen X.
Mhm.
Like the typical Gen X. And my wife too, because we were born like mid 70s, late 70s, yeah. And
Yeah.
so that's like right transitioning into like the tech, when the technology industry started to explode and millennials started coming in, and I was like,
Mhm.
oh, bro, it's kind of interesting, man. Just being in this age group where like you got your Gen X friends, but yet you still got some tech savviness, so we can talk straight with younger folks too.
Yeah.
It's great, but it's great to see other Polynesians getting involved with this, man. Like what like you said, now at school you don't see too many Polynesians in the industry. What about when you were in high school? You see a lot of your friends, Polynesian friends, getting involved in this stuff too, or not really?
When I was in high school, I was lucky enough. Let me backtrack. So in middle school, I was living in Oregon, right? And in Oregon, we're trying to fish for high schools, what high school I should go to. And my mom was really working hard on getting me into a good high school that would set me up for the future. So the thing that we did was, man, she worked so hard for this. She planned it out so we would move to Las Vegas, where my cousin was at the time, and we'd live with them. And me and my cousin would go to the same high school, and it was a private high school. So it was like top notch education that we got. I'm so grateful that she was able to do that. So we got like a scholarship to go there, and then being in that high school, there weren't really many Polynesians. There are actually a good amount in Vegas, but not in that high school. So I wasn't really surrounded by many polys going in high school.
If you were to give advice to any Polynesian brothers around your age,
Mhm.
coming out here, maybe going through some struggles, stressors in life, what is some advice you would want to give them?
Great question. Hmm.
Take your time, brother. You got time.
Yeah, yeah. I'm gonna think about that one. I think hmm, this is this is a simpler one. It's a habit that I started. Uh, I think senior year of high school. A habit that I started doing, and it's actually really helped me focus, get clear my mind. But it's walking. Like every now and then, or every day, I would just have this time for me to disconnect from all the coding or all the stresses of life because life can be so stressful, right? Like you know this, yeah, so stressful. So I take this time to walk and maybe like listen to a podcast or just not anything. But man, walking I think has helped me so much clear my mind and it really helped me internalize my thoughts. Because a lot of the times I find that I'm not talking with myself the right way, like self communication, uh, really talking to myself in a way that'll get me to where I want to be in the future. So I think walking is a something that I would recommend.
Bro, that's awesome, man. So my dad is actually a behavior specialist, and
Hmm.
I remember him telling me when my children, because I got two boys, I got a 3-year-old and a 7-year-old, yeah. He
Yeah.
said, if they ever start throwing tantrums or start getting out of hand, the best thing you can do is pick them up and change the environment, which means either take them outside, take them to another room, take them next to fish tanks or whatever you can. Because he said
Hmm.
you change the environment, it breaks you out of whatever mindset that you're in at that time, which is the reason why a lot of times you might hear stories about couples when they get into fights. Usually, one
Hmm.
person gets in a car and drives off, or like you said, for you, like if there's a lot of stress or things going on in your mind, you go outside and go for a walk. Yeah. So that whole
Hmm.
idea of changing your environment is super important to do. Because otherwise, if you don't do that, you can literally just stress yourself out. That's why, like for me, even
Yeah.
when I work, oh man, I'm on a computer for like 8 hours. Maybe every 2 hours, I gotta get up, and sometimes I might go outside. Just
Hmm.
walk outside the office and come back in again. Or if I'm working from home that day, same thing. I go downstairs, kind of just look at the trees downstairs. There's a small park downstairs. And okay, I gotta come back up.
Yeah.
Just change that environment, and you can get your mindset in a better spot too, man.
Yeah.
And that self talk you just mentioned too, that's huge. I really do believe in the whole thing about uh that idea about like casting spells when you say
Hmm.
words.
Yeah.
You tell yourself if you tell yourself good, I mean, you're not going to be doing good work, right? You just
Yeah.
got to try your best to just stay positive and be like, man, I got this. I'm going to put my head down and just power through and be successful. And yeah, it's helpful, man. It's been helpful for me, and I've been trying to get my boys to do it too because my one of my sons, he's kind of a perfectionist and he's hard on himself, and
Hmm.
I'm just like, I get it. You want to be better, but just be careful. Don't do too much negative self talk. Just try to do things to uplift yourself rather than put yourself down. So yeah,
Yeah.
man, the whole thing you said about self talk and self walking, wow, that's super important, man. Um, was there anything else that you wanted to mention to the crew? We got a few minutes left, but I just want to make sure you everything you wanted to talk about.
Um. No, I think that's everything. I think right now I'm really just looking to connect with as many Polynesians, Pacific Islanders as possible. So if there are any listening to this out there and you aren't connected with me on LinkedIn, I think LinkedIn is a pretty good platform, and that's the only one I'm on too. So so connect with me on LinkedIn or reach out to email dean.wata@gmail. But yeah, man, thank you so much. This is awesome.
No, bro, thank you. And what's funny is too is that with this podcast YouTube channel that I started, I got so far you're number 34, so I got 34 guys that have been interviewed. A lot of these
Mhm.
guys have actually started networking now with each other. Like they've been watching each other's
Yeah,
episodes, and they leave comments on YouTube. It's like, hey man, you do real estate? Oh, I gotta hit you up because our family wants to move. Or one guy's like
that's
a
awesome.
financial advisor. He's like, bro, I want to get my 401k set up. So they're
Yeah.
all
Hey,
networking.
do you
Yo,
have a Facebook group for everyone you've interviewed?
oh, that's a good point. I don't have one yet.
Dude.
Maybe I should start one.
You want me to start it up for you? I got
That's
you.
a good point. I didn't even think of that. I've been so busy trying to get other stuff going. Yeah, maybe I should start
Man,
that.
I'd love to meet everyone you've interviewed so far. Yeah, you interviewed some pretty cool people. And I know some pretty cool guys that I think would love to be on the show too. But
Oh,
man, this is a really cool opportunity.
no, but I appreciate you, man. I'll make sure I put your
Yeah, for sure.
contact info in the description and everything too.
Oh
But
yeah, yeah.
um, now, man, hey, like I said, you're 18 years old, brother. The fact that you're at this point, believe me, you are way ahead of the game, bro. There's
Mhm.
the sky's the limit for you because you got so many years to think
Thank you.
about what you want to shoot for and whatnot. And honestly, man, the relationships with girls and stuff, don't worry about that, bro. Don't worry about that. Seriously, like, don't, believe me, this no, for real. Like, if you just
That's what
focus,
everyone says to
yeah,
me.
don't even worry about girls, bro. Just focus on yourself and where you want to
Bro.
be. The girls are gonna come because especially if they see how stable and settled you are and focused you are on your goals. Oh man, they're
Mhm.
just gonna come out of the woodwork. I'm serious, bro. Take it from a guy who's in his mid-40s, bro. I know.
That's the plan. That's the plan.
Yeah. You got this, bro. No, I appreciate you. Hey, appreciate everybody watching the show too. And Dean,
Yeah.
yeah, we'll definitely catch you later, man. On
Yes,
the
sir.
show. See some comments on YouTube. So mahalo to you and mahalo to everybody,
Yeah.
man.
Hey, I appreciate you.
Thanks,
Yeah.
brother.